efforts and help these girls together through the bursaries that the members sitting in this room are administering, so that we bring down the rates of early marriages and FGM in our country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, nominee. We'll take
Honorable Speaker,
yes.
I have a follow-up question regarding the two-third gender rule, and I want to ask the nominee, are you aware there was a report in the Parliament and the multi-sectoral working groups on two-third gender rule, and the report is already in the Parliament? Are you aware about that? Because I didn't hear you mentioning that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am aware of the task force that was working on, I believe the Honorable Chair is talking about the NATCO report. Is that the one, Honorable Chair? Maybe that, if that is the one, I'm aware. And I thought it was an item which was still under discussion. And maybe the leader of business in the National Assembly will be able to share the same. And I believe now it is still an item still under consideration. And since the honorable member who has mentioned it is part of that team in the National Assembly, I would also persuade her and other women, other honorable women leaders in this House to also support the same, because I believe if we succeed in that proposal, it might be a game changer for the life of the girl and women in this country. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Passing, you'll pass. Gikaria.
Just for introduction, my name is Gikaria. Pass.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chairman.
Yes, Naisula.
Thank you. To the nominee, I have a very simple question. Gender is mostly misconstrued to be about women and girls, while I also think it is about boys and men. And we're seeing a lot of challenges, which especially our young men and boys are going through. I want to know, if approved by this committee and the National Assembly, what measures will you put in place to ensure that our boys and young men are also taken care of? And finally, your views on femicide and rape, which has become rampant.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the Honorable member who has just asked the question. Those are actually very pertinent issues in our society now. The issue of the boy child and the men is actually one of the emerging gender issues in our communities. As we sit together in this room this afternoon, everybody is aware, every member seated here could be knowing of a case of a boy, either in your neighborhood, either a friend, a child of a friend, or a child of a sister who has gotten involved in issues of drug and substance abuse, cases of mental health, cases of broken marriage relationships. And when you look deep into the issues, Honorable Chair, the issue of the poor child is actually in a crisis situation. Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, if you go down the streets in this town, in this city, the number of boys who form part of the street families, you realize that the number of boys in the street family is actually on the increase. When you go to the mental health centers, you find the number of boys also is very high. Cases of femicide that we all witnessed in the recent past, it is our boys who are involved. So I think, Honorable Speaker, as a government, we need to come up with deliberate efforts targeting the boy child, starting from issues of drug and substance abuse, by starting to take most of them which are affected to rehab centers, and move a step higher to give them a reorientation and even train them in areas of their interest. We can take them to TVETs where they can train in areas of where they have technical interests, so that these boys can also be empowered and be made to be useful and to have a gainful engagement, and also to encourage them to start families. Because right now, Honorable Speaker, the empowered girl that we have in our homes today, they have no husbands. Because the boys who are supposed to marry them, they are in drugs, they are involved in femicide because maybe they were disappointed by one woman.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
I just want to caution on statements, especially where you're talking about, they need to be married and all these statements. Be very careful on the words you use. Some of young people do not necessarily want to marry at all. Number two, there's a statement that you've used, and someone has sent me a furious message saying that she needs to be careful because you say without support of a father figure, women can do little to succeed. She's saying she is a daughter of a single mother.
Actually, since it was my question, Chairman,
Yes.
I under your guidance, what you have been saying is that we are not looking for lamentation. I asked for measures and
Yes.
what we are going to do in case you are approved.
Yes, Robert?
Yeah, I also want to caution because she just said that on the matters of femicide, it's our boys that are involved. And without evidence, you can't really accuse anyone.
That is also true, nominee. Nominee, you are before this committee to demonstrate that if you find favor and His Excellency appoints you, what is your vision? The questions you are being asked is not about general knowledge. It's about if you become the cabinet secretary in this docket, what are you going to do about the plight of the boy child? What are you going to do about femicide? What are you going to do about all the things you have been asked, FGM and so on? So people, members of the public and this team are looking to you to demonstrate your vision for the country and what you can do to improve the space to which the president has nominated you to be. So avoid generalities and histrionics.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and sorry for the deviation. I want to just add something, Honorable Speaker, that most of the areas that honorable members has asked, they are areas also of research, which I might not have information, I might not have the data, but I could be having general knowledge. And since, Honorable Chair, I'm not an expert, I withdraw my sentiments, and I beg the honorable members to give me an opportunity to continue with the presentation.
We'll go to Owen.
Just a quick one, Honorable, so I can also give guidance. I think, we would like to see what are the policies, what are the policy gaps in the gender sector? What are the legislative gaps in the gender sector? And the other areas that you've been nominated to. You're not just in gender, you're also in culture and something else. Culture, arts, and heritage. Yes. The heritage part is quite important for this nation, but I haven't heard you actually say anything about heritage and what are the issues that we need. Probably I need to ask you, what are the issues in heritage? How are we going? Gede Ruins has been given a title now as one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. How is that important to this country? And there are many areas where we have these UNESCO heritage sites, but the people there are very poor. They have not had any impact on this world classification in terms of heritage. What is it that you need to do in culture, you know, in terms of performance arts, in terms of young people, content creation and all that? If you give us that, we'll be able to see, yeah, you really can help this country in the cabinet. Thank you.
Good. George, no? Mary, you'll pass? You'll pass. Robert?
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. As a nation, we have toyed with the idea of a national dress for a very, very long time. But we are still stuck in formal wear that is foreign, even during our national events or social engagements. In fact, you can see that when we are doing all this work, we've all been in suits and ties. And even our parliament, we have to be in suits and ties. What do you have to say about that on issues of dress, the Kenyan dress?
Chair, with the gender ministry, that I cannot pass, I have to say something. And my question